Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to my podcast. If you would go ahead, please like the stream and let me know in the chat where you're tapping in from, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, down South. Let me know in the chat where you are tuning in from. And of course, we have Mr. Walker. Thank you so much for tuning in. And that's right. It's no fly zone tonight. No fly zone. And while we are waiting for a couple more people to come into um, the chat, I'm going to go ahead and play another Jackson State song. Less than 10 days for the kickoff, week 0, MEAC SWAC challenge in Atlanta, Georgia. And, you know, it's almost like we've been waiting for this moment to get here forever. And now we're less than 10 days away. So I wanted to finish off my breakdowns of the Jackson State team with none other than our safeties and cornerbacks. And this segment for tonight is called the No Fly Zone. And, you know, I'm just going to call this DB University, despite the fact that one of the greatest corners to ever play in the NFL has left the building, and that was none other than our former coach, Deion Sanders. The room at Jackson State, the depth, it's the talent, it's off the charts. And I have no doubt that with the amount of talent that we have from these young men, that we will be able to turn a lot of these DBs, these corners, they're getting ready to be playing both ways because it's going to be pick six city wherever we're at. So let's go ahead and just jump right on into it. I'm going to talk a little bit about our coaching staff that is over the cornerbacks and the safeties. And I think it's important to go over and acknowledge our coaching staff. So you know what we have there in those back rooms that's basically guiding these young men to have an exquisite season. So we have Coach Torenzo Quinn. He is the defensive back and defensive passing game coordinator. Last season, Coach Quinn was the safeties coach at Alcorn in 2022, where the Braves secondary got stronger as the year went on, registering at least one interception in 7 of the final 9 games. Prior to Alcorn, Quinn spent 1 year as offensive coordinator at Mississippi Delta Community College. Prior to joining the MDCC staff, Quinn spent 2 seasons at the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff in several roles, including coaching the safeties and defensive backs and serving as the assistant head coach and defensive passing game coordinator. So, once again, we've been talking about this over the past couple of months, that all of the coaches that are under the helm of Coach T.C. Taylor, one way or another, they have coached with one another. So he was at UAPB, and there was a couple of other coaches as well that were at UAPB that are now at Jackson State. While at UAPB, he guided the emergence of Sean Steele into one of the SWAC's top defensive backs. In 2019, Steele was tied for 6th in the SWAC in interceptions and tied for the league lead in pass breakups with 18. Also in 2019, Blake Connor led the team in both solo tackles, 43, and total tackles, 77, while also recording 2 interceptions and 2 forced fumbles. Before UAPB, Quinn spent the 2016 season as a graduate assistant with the Alcorn State University football team, working primarily with the cornerbacks. In 2017, he was in charge of overseeing the defensive backs unit. As a graduation assistant, Quinn was a part of a defensive staff that saw Alcorn ranked first in the conference in the fewest pass completions. The Braves were also number 2 in total defense in the league en route to its 3rd consecutive SWAC East Division title. I want to say that's right before, is that 2017? So that's like right 2016, 2017. That's the exit of I want to say Jay Hobson. So this must be the time where Alcorn is always bragging about how good they were. And how decent they were. So when did he exit? I want to say Jay Hobson. It said in 2016. Let's see. I want to say that's close to it. Okay, so he was from Alcorn State from 2012 to 2015. So in 2016, those were the remnant players of Jay Hobson right there. So that was a time where Alcorn had some prominence. And I wanted to introduce one of the newer staff members. He's been at Jackson State for about 3 months. And it's Coach Mario Magana. And he is the quarterbacks coach, assistant defensive backs coach. He doesn't have his full bio uploaded on the website. But a little bit about him. He is a younger coach. In the spring of 2022, he joined the University of Central Missouri staff, and he coached safeties. DeAndre Glover was an All-American and second team All-Conference in MIAA, and that was one of the first-time starters that was underneath Coach Magana. He transferred to Gardner-Webb. at the end of that season. Jordan Scruggs was also a first-time starter, and during that season, he gave up less than 50 yards for the total season, and he was also a first-time starter. Coach Magana played corner, strong safety, and free safety from 2018 to 2022 at William Jewell College in Liberty, Missouri. If you take a look at his profile, he does have a breakdown of safety, free safety, strong safety. It's a video, a compilation, and what he brings to the table as far as being a coach. It's great information to check out. He's a new up and coming young coach. And Jackson State should definitely be excited to have this young man on our team. He's very motivated and he brings a lot to the team. So that's Coach Magana. I hope I'm saying that right. All right, let's go ahead and get into our cornerbacks. What I wanted to say about the cornerbacks on the Jackson State roster is that we have a complete roster in the secondary. We have Kevric Wiggins, Jalin Hughes, Ahmad Dobney, Jordan Harris, Anthony Petty, or I think they call him AJ Petty, Josh Short, and that is, of course, the quarterback Philip Short's brother, Nireek Sharpe, Jaheim Hazel, Frankie Dunn, Tavarius Jones, and Deontay Dixon. And once again, if you are interested in viewing who it is that's on the roster, all you have to do is go to the 2023 Jackson State roster. They are all uploaded with their new pictures. There might be a couple of folks that are not there yet as far as like getting their pictures done, but for the most part, all of the current roster is on there. So if you don't see somebody's name and you don't see their picture on the actual website, more than likely they're not on the team at this time. They're not on the roster because this is the most up-to-date. I think they updated it as early as last week. So these are the most up-to-date roster for Jackson State University. So starting out with Kevric Wiggins, I remember there was a lot of talk from everybody, and they were saying, oh, you guys lost everybody. You guys lost everybody. And I'm just like, whoa, you forget that the only touchdown that Musa got last year in the Orange Blossom Classic was from none other than Kevric Wiggins. He passed to Kevric for a defensive touchdown. That was the only touchdown that he got all season. Or not all season, but for that particular game, that was the only touchdown that he got. So we're going to take a look at his footage and his highlights. I think it's important to highlight that we still have some of that acquired talent is still on the roster. So let's take a look at the footage.
Save it for David. Save it. Save it.
Such a beautiful throw by Musa to Kevric Wiggins for that defensive touchdown. Again, this is K5. No fly zone. Nope. Get it out of there. Nope. Not that one either. Nope. Can't get that one either. Ooh, Southern 23 to 43. 24 to 43. Good Lord. I mean, all I saw was no. Can't get that one either. Nope. Nope. Can't get that one either. Try again. Try again. Try again. So once again, that is K5, and he is from the Jackson State roster. He was a ULM transfer, and he has had a huge impact on Jackson State, and he actually played a lot of snaps last year. As you all know, the last year, Deion Sanders was injured. He had to get a surgery, and he was injured. Next up, we have Jalin Hughes, and of course, we're going to be watching his highlights as well. I don't know about y'all, but the additions that we've made to the roster, what we already have, it's a total package. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of Jalen's highlights. Out of, I think, returning to our roster that were already on our roster was, of course, Wiggins, Hughes, Dabney, Petty, Frankie Dunn, and let me see, Deseric Patton. Everybody else is new. But I feel like that recruiting pretty good to fill in those gaps for the players that decided to exit. I think that we did a phenomenal job.
Meanwhile, on the carry, Jalin.
Mind you, all of our players have gotten stronger, faster, and picked up some weight, in addition to their production from last year. I don't know about that, Avis. And that's, of course, I keep saying that the secret weapon is, of course, our strength and conditioning, Coach Beef, and his staff. So that's why it's like, who said that? Jackson State's not going to be able to do a repeat. Who said that? Our strength program is better than last year. Are you serious? Way better. And of course, that is Jalin Hughes. Um, so I wanted to talk a little bit about our recruiting efforts. Um, Nireek Sharpe is one of the highlights, and I actually talk about Nireek Sharpe from, I want to say, National Signing Day, because Nireek literally went to Jackson State, I want to say a week to a week and a half before signing day. And he was crystal balled to go to, I want to say, Georgia Tech. And he's a 3-star prospect out of Stockbridge High School in Georgia. That was, I want to say, one of Coach Quinn's gets for the team. He was basically, he went to Jackson State the week before or a week and a half before, and then he popped out and surprised everybody. Um, so once again, and we're going to look at some highlights on AJ Petty and Frankie Dunn during practice. They have been intercepting the ball and all type of stuff. Let them know that our roster, we already had AJ Petty. He played a lot of nickel last year, and we're just adding on to that. So let's take a look. Of course, if you have not subscribed to the Jackson State football team, their YouTube, you have to subscribe ASAP. So, of course, this is just a little snippet of Petty and a phenomenal interception. That was a throw to DJ Steven. He went up there and got it. He went up there and got that ball. See that? Yeah. So, gains. And even though the roster, there was actually a lot of recruits that came out of Hendricks' era that were actually phenomenal players. Warren Newman, CJ Holmes. CJ Holmes is playing for the Guardians, and I want to say in the CFL. And he'll be playing alongside, I want to say he'll be on the same team as Dallas Daniels. But he had some pretty good recruits that were in there, some diamonds in the rough that they just needed the chance to prove that they had what it takes to play at the next level. So that was AJ Petty. And let me see if I have another one. Okay, those are safeties. So I have a couple of safety videos, and when we get to that page, we'll go ahead and check those out. So once again, phenomenal roster. I will say this, a lot of the recruits that we see, they were not already on the roster. They actually come from the Mississippi area. So it was interesting. It's kind of like seeing the talent return back to home because a lot of these players, they were playing elsewhere. And now we get a chance to see them in action. One of the big gets that we had, of course, was Jaheim Hazel. He's a graduate student from Wofford. I already talked about Nireek Sharpe, the 3-star out of Atlanta, Georgia, Stockbridge High School. Ahmad Dabney is from Callaway High School. Jordan Harris we don't have a picture for him right now, but he is originally from Jackson, Mississippi, Madison Central High School, and he went to Coahoma Community College. Anthony Petty is from Wiggins, Mississippi. Josh Short, which is the transfer corner from Southern, he is from Greensville, Mississippi. And he graduated from Northwest Rankin High School, and he went to East Mississippi Community College. Let's see. So those are some of the players that are returning back to home, basically. Somebody said no fly zone, that meaning they can't fly to Atlanta. No, it means that none of the footballs that go in the air from the opposing team will be able to connect to whoever they're throwing it to. These are our defensive backs, Jay, and safeties. So when you see, yeah. All right, let's move on to, of course, the safeties. Pick six season is in full effect. We have free safety and strong safety. Somebody in the chat, can you guys please comment, who do you think is a strong safety and who do you think is a free safety? So, because I'm not gonna place free safety or I think I know based off of I think Solomon is definitely a strong safety. But anyway, so I'm going to explain to you for those of you who are, because I'm getting ready to do a poll in the chat. So the free safety, of course, is tackling the ball carrier on both the passing plays and running plays if they break that defensive line. Now, as we know, the dark side defense, it's not too many people that's going to get through there. But in the event that the defensive line, that they break through and that the middle linebacker doesn't pick them up, this is the last line of defense. And so the free safety is stopping the big plays before they break for an even bigger one. Now, we just saw that video of Petty. And as you can see, the end zone is right there. And he was able to make a play. Now, Petty usually plays he plays nickelback. So he plays nickelback. But in this particular instance where we see him right here, he's basically the last line of defense. DJ Stevens is literally right here. This is a touchdown. This is a touchdown. I want to say that's Jacobian Morgan that's throwing the ball. And it's great height. But Anthony Petty said, See, as you can see that blue spot right there, that's basically a touchdown if he doesn't go up there and get it. And then you see number 3 and number 4, which number 3 is Jaheim Hazel. I want to say number 4 is going to be Solomon, safety. So there was safeties everywhere. And Zoe said that Petty had a good camp too. Zoe in the chat. Stewart is nickel and strong. Okay. So, and we're going to do, it's just for fun. So I don't have any inside intake. We're going to do just a couple of formations. And the formations, basically what those are for, those just prove that the ones and the twos are interchangeable. And just like when you play on PlayStation and you can just pick which one you want to do, it's interchangeable. So we have Solomon Rogers, and Solomon. Let me get your information about Solomon. He was a transfer from Charlotte. Oh, I forgot to mention this about Jaheim Hazel. So Jaheim Hazel played in 38 games with 11 starts, had 79 career tackles with 10 pass breakups and 1 fumble recovery. And that was Jaheim Hazel, and he was playing for Wofford. He played in 11 games with 2 starts in the secondary, recorded 17 tackles with 1 fumble recovery and 6 pass breakups. He made at least 1 tackle in all 11 games, had 2 tackles each against Elon, Virginia Tech, and at Kennesaw State. Against Mercer, had a tackle and recovered a fumble at the start of the second quarter. Had 3 pass breakups at Samford. Against ETSU, had 3 tackles. At Furman, had 2 tackles. So, mind you, these different teams that I just mentioned, those are the ones that when you get certain people in HBCU spaces, they claim that these are the FCS teams that we need to play against. So Zoe might give us a little 1, 2, 3. When it comes to my city, we are having JSU parties all over the city. Come and enjoy Chocolate City. And Terrell, if you want to send me a link or some pictures of what types of parties you guys are having, let me know. So Solomon Rogers is from Charlotte. He's a graduate student, so that means that he's seasoned, and he's played at the FBS level. So that means that he brings to the roster added, potentially he has the added experience at that level to play at a high level. At Charlotte, he ranked 22nd all time with 116 career tackles. He's the 25th Niner to reach 100 career tackles, 2-year starting safety. He enrolled in January 2019, and he's a member of the 49ers 8th recruiting class. In 2022, he played in 10 games, making 5 starts, fourth on the team with 52 tackles, 32 solo, averaged 5.2 tackles per game. He's 4th with 3.5 tackles for loss. He added 1 interception, 1 pass breakup, and 1 quarterback hurry. He had a high of 13 tackles with 9 solo, with 3 tackles for loss against UAB, 8 tackles in a win at Georgia State, 6 tackles versus WKU, and in a season-ending win over LA Tech, added 0.5 tackles for loss. And he had his first career interception at Middle Tennessee. So once again, this is a seasoned player. And he has the ability to bring in that experience. So we'll be looking, watch out for Solomon Rogers. Okay, of course, we have Esaias Guthrie. He's an All-American, and he was on Blues all-conference team. And we're going to go ahead and look at some highlights from Esaias. Highly touted recruit that decided to come to Jackson State University after the exit of Coach Prime, and even after the player who recruited him left, he still decided to stay. Ooh. So let me go ahead and restart that. That's an 87-yard interception touchdown. We'll pick 6. This particular year, I wanted to say that he got 4 interceptions. Let me see. And let me play this. So I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I have another video. This was recently, and I know that you guys have probably seen the play, which was, of course, Esaias Guthrie's against freshman wide receiver Isaiah Spencer, and whether or not it was a catch or not, we should look at that and do a poll to see, was it a catch or was it not?
Hey, you got that pick?
Hey, yo, bad play.
Oh, I'm gonna have to mute it, y'all. Sorry. Let me restart it. But basically, this is during practice. They've been having some gritty practices. Gritty. So I'm gonna do a poll, and the poll is, was that ball out? Because some people are saying that it was out. And of course, you have to see who was the assist in that particular play. None other than K5. So that's our first poll. I'm going to be, of course, as you can see this video that we have, you see K5 hit the ball and it went up, and then Esaias caught the ball. Was the ball in or out? And Miss Whitley is correct. Okay. And I'm going to stop it right now and pause for a break. We have here Mr. Campbell, and he is getting ready to come on, and we're going to talk a little bit about a sponsorship. How you doing, Mr. Campbell?
Well, looky here. I'm here in one of the Tigers' dens. I know they don't want FAMU people to come on these shows, but this is what we do. You know, FAMU people just barge in. That's what we do. So I am super excited to announce that Timona is going to be one of our spokespeople for the 2023-2024 year. She is somebody that I am so believing in. Timona is so talented. She represents the best of what HBCUs are. She represents the best of what Jackson State is. So when I spoke to Timona, I say, hey, we really want to get somebody that's in this space that represents our brand, that's going to look good in our brand, and also, you know, kind of give people what they want to see. So I'm super excited about this partnership. One of our first things, Timona's going to talk a little bit about it. We're also sponsoring the JSU alumni tent at the SWAC MEAC Challenge. Timona's going to be there on site wearing our eye weave hair and doing what she does best with her slides and talking about Jackson State. So we're proud to sponsor that. And like I've always told people, I have a love for Jackson State. I'm from Jackson. My family is a Jackson State family. And I always tell people, you cannot ever hate another HBCU because all of these schools have the same mission. So it always tickles me when somebody says, oh, this person hates this school and like that. I'm not one of those people because Jackson State changed my family's life. And Timona has a slide that she's going to show the reason why I support Jackson State so much. You're going to show that slide that we're going to kind of talk about?
Put it up there.
Okay.
So, Mr. Campbell, once again, I do want to thank you for this great opportunity to not only represent your brand, but expand my brand as well. I Weave, of course, you guys have several different initiatives that you have going on. So, to be able to be representative of that and to be able to promote that, we will definitely have some things coming down the line, especially in the coming months with football season coming up. But I wanted everyone to know the history of Mr. Campbell and your tie to Jackson State. So, of course, we have the history of the Breland family. And would you like to go ahead and talk a little bit about your grandfather and as it relates to Jackson State, how you're connected?
Absolutely. So my grandfather, Irvin H. Breland Sr., is a proud graduate of Jackson College, class of 1938, from Wiggins, Mississippi. And how he ended up at Jackson State, which people can understand this, he was from a family of 13, and his father and mother could not read or write. And down South Mississippi, there was logging, and they didn't pick cotton and stuff like that. It was more about farming and stuff like that. So apparently the white man, when they would go to sell their goods, would always cheat the Brelands. And his father said, one of y'all got to go get educated up in that school in Jackson. And my grandfather was the next in line. So he sent my grandfather to Jackson State in 1934. He graduated in 1938. He was part of a class of 12 people in his class that graduated. And you guys, I'm pretty sure know about Dansby Hall. His president was B.B. Dansby. That was who the president of the school was at that time. So when I tell people how much Brelands and Jackson State are together, it has probably been over 100 Brelands that have attended Jackson State since 1938. I'm pretty sure everybody that is in this chat that went to Jackson State went to school with a Breland. And as a matter of fact, which is so funny, it's a Breland on the basketball team right now, which is a distant cousin of mine. So almost for 100 years, there has been a Breland at Jackson State University, Jackson College, now Jackson State University. So for me, this is me honoring my grandfather, because when he went to Jackson State, that changed the whole dynamic of a whole family. Because he was a family of 13, and all his brothers and sisters then sent their kids to Jackson State. I have an aunt, she had 12 kids, 10 of them went to Jackson State. He had a brother, 6 of his kids went to Jackson State. So as you can see, Jackson State is very important to me. So I'm always going to support Jackson State. I'm always going to support Jackson, the city. So that's why I want all of us to understand, while we might tell jokes and tease back and forth, I never want people to say, I hate somebody, or I don't want somebody to support Jackson State because they didn't go to Jackson State. Because Jackson State changed my life, which did allow me to go to FAMU, and my aunt to go to Dillard, and his son who pledged, and Cedric Walker, my boy, his frat brother, Delta Chapter Kappa. Breland's all through that chapter. So things like that. So I'm super excited because Timona reminds me of the Brelands, because one thing about the Brelands, they were known as preachers and teachers, and now Brelands are known as doctors and lawyers. So Timona is in that fine company. So we always want to make sure that we support that. So this is my little give back to Jackson State. And like I said, everybody know I love everybody and I respect everybody. I want to see Jackson State do well. I want to see everybody do well. So this is my thing. So this is when people ask me about my JSU card, or why can't I talk about Jackson State? Now you know why I can talk about Jackson State.
Okay, so you got your clearance card.
I got my since 1938. Since 1938. 100 Breland strong. So there's very few people that can say what I just said. So that's the reason why I feel comfortable when I speak on Jackson State or when I support Jackson State, because it's not something that's not genuine. It is very, very genuine because of what that university has done for my family. That's why I never, and people know this, and this is no secret, I'm on other shows, but everybody knows I'm going to defend Jackson, and I'm going to defend Jackson State. I always have, and I always will, because I know what Jackson State means to that state of Mississippi and to Black people. So it has changed lives. So I'm proud of what Jackson State is. I'm proud of what Jackson State does. And any way I can honor my grandfather and the Breland family by doing any sponsorship. And I will say this, 3 of the last 4 Miss JSUs have won I Weave hair. So I've always been around. Brelands have always given money to Jackson State. I remember my grandmother feed Walter Payton coming over to the house. So that's how far we go back with Jackson State. So again, I'm super proud. Tamona's going to do a great job, and she's going to make all these wonderful slides, and we're going to take all these beautiful pictures of her, and we're going to promote our brand, because the one thing about our brand, it is HBCU born and bred, and that's what we want. We want people that embody that, and Tamona is the best of that spirit. So I appreciate you letting me come on. I'm excited for Tamona to be in Atlanta representing the brand at the alumni tent. She's going to look amazing, and I appreciate Sylvester and president of the JSU Alumni Association in Atlanta to allow us to sponsor that tent, which you guys will see the iWeave logo. Once again, we put our money where our mouth is, and Tamona is going to do a great job. So Tamona, I will let you have your show back, but I will say this one thing. I'm going to love y'all until Labor Day weekend. Now, y'all know.
I will still be representing iWeave.
Yeah, exactly. You can wear your blue and white.
Sweet.
You and Cedric will be in the suites.
In the Blue Blossom Classic.
In the Blue Blossom. Hey, whatever you all want to call it. So that whole week, we can talk trash. You know, we always going to keep it respectful, but that is the thing that we are going to do. But from there on, I always want Jackson State to win every other game other than against FAMU. So I appreciate you, Tamona. Like I said, I'll say this again. I'm super proud of you, and I'm telling everybody just to see Tamona's growth and what she's going to be big in this space. And that's why we really believe that she is going to be big in this space. So I appreciate it. So Tamona, like I say, thank you so much. And like I say, from the iWeave family and the Breland family, we appreciate you supporting us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Campbell, and everybody in the chat. That was the Mr. Campbell from the highest of Seven Hills. Braxton wants to make his appearance. Go ahead and say hi.
Hi.
Wave to the camera. And then go back over there and go play. All right. And once again, I'm super excited about this beautiful partnership that we have, that SheLovesThee has acquired with iWeave. And once again, there'll be more details coming soon for Guard the Yard next Saturday at the tailgate. We will have some more information later on down the line. That was kind of like a commercial break. And so now that we are finished with that, let's get back to this Pick 6 season that's in full effect. Let me go ahead and check the poll. Poll. And see what you guys are saying. So the question that I asked was, the pass breakup by K5 and then the catch from Esaias, was that a catch? And it looks like y'all said 64% of y'all said no. Oh, was the ball out? So 63% of y'all said no. 36% said yes. So that means that would have been an interception right there. So that's K5 and Esaias Guthrie. That was a assist from him. So let's go ahead and look at some more film from practice. Let me see if I have one from I have some good practice film. You know, they're only going to show you bits and pieces, but to that, I just think that we have one of the most talented rosters. One of the most talented rosters in the SWAC. And once again, I've went through literally every last section. I've went through the DBs. I went through the quarterback room. We went through the defensive line and the O-line. And for me, I don't see, you know, I don't see where people are outdoing us in any particular position in the SWAC. I could be wrong, but I just think that we have the best one. Okay, and now I'm going to show you a video of Frankie Dunn and his interception. I feel like ASVP Visuals, Mr. Austin, has been real defensive heavy. We've seen a lot of interceptions. So let's take a look at that particular. Let me see. That particular interception. We're going to look at that. And I want to say Frankie Dunn might also play nickel. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Oh, made you look. You thought. Okay, so Esaias, you got to keep your helmet on. That's a that would be a penalty. So keep your helmet on. Keep your helmet on. Frankie Dunn. Mr. Walker says JSU has a strong defensive backfield. They're really flying to the ball and jumping routes with safety help over the top. Yeah, there's no supply, no short supply of interceptions. So the next part that I have, of course, and once I run through these slides, I'm going to drop the StreamYard, and then everybody that would like to come up and talk a little bit about basically our defensive backs, our safeties, feel free to come on up and place your input on the show. So once again, this is no-fly zone. I know Mr. J asked, well, what is no-fly zone? It means don't throw the ball in the air. If you throw the ball in the air, you're going to turn our safeties and DBs into wide receivers, and they're going to have to run it back for a touchdown. Mr. Avis, I do have a call in, but I don't know how to use it. So I don't know if that's possible. Maybe I might try to figure that out. And Javon says the front four will continue to make the DB's jobs much easier with the constant pressure. I think you're right, Javon. And then also you have to think that with the quarterback hurries and the way that the defense is running, so if they're blitzing the quarterback like they did with Musa, where you're continually blitzing him and getting him off of his handle, he's going to throw the ball up regardless. So that will give the DBs the opportunity to get interceptions. So this is just, I was just doing it's not set in stone. I don't have that information. I don't have the inside track. But if I had to choose, or I had to put some people into play, Esaias at free safety, Solomon at strong safety, maybe. And then K5 and Jalin as corner. It's just, you could, baby, just pick which players you want to and fill them in. Just fill them in. Fill them in whichever way you want. Pick up any of the players on our roster. Jaheim Hazel, AJ Petty, Josh Short, and just pick your poison. Whichever ones you want. Okay, and I'm getting ready to drop it in the chat. And Doc, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, how you doing?
Woo! Just getting off of work. It is hot as Satan's toenails out here.
Hot
Cause
as
it's
Satan's toenails? I have never heard of that before.
it's 111 degrees here in Dallas. And
Wow, I've never heard of that before. Um, you breaking up, Doc?
in these, since the turn of the year.
Oh my goodness.
So
So, Doc, what do you think about the DB room?
DB room shoot. I think the DB room it probably took a hit a little bit, but I think it's more solidified.
Mr. Walker says Bruce Mitchell, I know you interviewed him, will be a true freshman starter at strong safety.
Um, I think the DBs for this season, are going to be more. Um, I think they're going to be tested a little bit as far as when through the air.
Really?
I think so. The true test is going to come second week of the season. When they play FAMU. Um, see how they do against Musa.
Against Musa?
Yeah,
I mean, some of the folks that were there, they already, to me, they already were winning. K5 was real big on the FAMU game. Probably one of the biggest ones.
yeah, yeah. But hopefully, I think somebody said that the front four should be able to do his job, and it basically makes the cornerback's job much easier to cover the receivers, because I just feel like gonna be a party in the backfield every time. It's gonna be a party in the backfield.
I don't know. I feel like Musa is going to be blitzed, especially by that front four. And with the blitzing, he's going to have him off. They're going to have him off his square. He might try to throw and say, just put it up there, because he has Marcus Riley in his wide receiver room. And we have a couple of others, that he's counting on. I know you did talk about how he was one that only threw to one receiver, which is
One
Xavier
receiver.
Smith.
Yeah, and so my whole thing is, what are you gonna do now, because that is your security blanket? That's what I'm saying. Xavier Smith was the blanket, like, Linus for Charlie Brown. Like, he had to have his blanket all the time. So Xavier Smith is that person that was the security blanket for Musa. What are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do now, since he's gone to the NFL? So now you really gonna have to rely on everybody.
So then that means that in order for it to be a competitive game, number one, Musa is going to have to be able to throw to multiple wide receivers in a game. And number two, he's going to have to be able to have a strong O-line to defend against those quarterback hurries. I can actually pull up some film of Musa in a game in the game. And basically it was a quarterback hurry by Julius Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, a pass breakup by one of our corners. So basically, in that particular game, Julius Reynolds was coming for the quarterback hurry. So now you see there's so many more people coming up off the edge besides Julius Reynolds, Antonio Doyle, Julius Reynolds. You might have Philip Webb coming off the edge. You might have, who else can come off the edge? Anyway, the point is those quarterback hurries are going to be detrimental to the quarterback and his efficiency with throwing. And then if you have these type of DBs out there to be able to intercept those balls, I think that it's going to be hard for the SWAC to score. And it looks like Mr. Walker says that they do have some good wide receivers that have transferred from FAMU to FAMU. They have Sherrard, a wide receiver transfer from Utah, and a Georgia Tech transfer. So it looks like they've gotten some transfers in there. Now the question is Musa going to throw to more than one wide receiver? Has he fixed that problem? Or is he still going to rely on a favorite? To which, if you're playing favorites, if you playing favorites, I'm gonna put my lockdown safety or lockdown corner in that area, and what you gonna do? No? Yes? I feel like this year the scoring is going to be we might not be scoring as much offensively, but then again, I can't say that. With the air raid offense, you know you're going to get quicker snaps. The ball is going to be, you're going to get more snaps with the air raid offense because you're throwing. Whereas with running offense, of course you're taking off time off the clock. So that means more time off the clock means less snaps. I feel like Coach Harris is going to be doing a balanced offense. So it's not just going to be throwing, but also running. And he's going to utilize his tight ends a lot. So with that being said, I would think that our scoring could be they would have to make up that scoring with our defense. So with forced fumbles, fumble recoveries. I also forgot to mention, I want to say AJ Petty had a blocked kick in the FAMU game as well. And he's on the roster. He blocked the kick.
Yeah, I think when I talked to I'm looking at the chat and I talked to Willie, he wants to run the ball more because he
really? He said he wants to run the ball more?
He wants to run the ball more. I mean, that's pretty much his MO, to run the ball, to set it up for the pass.
But, stop reading the chat, Doc, and talk.
I'm talking. Well, you sound like you are somebody's mama. I just thought about that.
No, because this is the thing. Now, I'm going to balance it with this. I'm going to preface it with this. So what is one of the main reasons that Jackson State was able to get so many offensive snaps? Our defense.
Is the defense, and it was also to keep, it was up tempo. You had to be up tempo. Like you know what I'm saying? The more snaps you take, the more that you put pressure on the defense.
Well, I know that they have Matt Knoll, who is going to be first team all SWAC punter. That he's going to be pinning the opposing team at their own red zone every single kick. So so with that being said, and then you have your dark side defense, the front seven out there,
Mm-hmm.
you are going to get the offense more touches because the defense is going to shut that down. Third down and out. Third down and out. Interception, forced fumble, third down and out. So you are going to get give the offense more chances to have more touches. Now the question will be, how many defensive touchdowns versus offensive touchdowns? So like if we look at the Jackson State versus FAMU game last year, I want to say, was it 3 defensive touchdowns?
As far as last season?
No, like the FAMU versus Jackson State game. How many defensive touchdowns was it? I want to say it was 3. I want to say Aubrey Miller had 1.
But that was the block field goal. I mean, that was the block punt.
Okay, and then K5 had 1.
Yeah, that was a true defensive touchdown. And I think I'm stumped on that. Like I literally had to go back and watch that game.
I'm gonna have to pull that. I'm gonna have to pull that up and look at the stats. So Shedeur had 5 touchdowns.
So he accounted for 30. He accounted for 30 points right there. 30 of the 59 points that he scored, he accounted for that.
Right.
I want to say Whitley. I really do want to see K5 return another Musa interception. I want to see that. I'm living for that.
I don't think there's any drop off at all, Bishop. The only position that arguably people can say that the talent is not the same is Shedeur Sanders as quarterback, which is one person. Every other place, the wide receiver room, the defensive line, the quarterback room as a whole is much better and the best in the SWAC. We lose Shedeur, but our quarterback room has upgraded tremendously. What other positions do we have out here? Tight end room, definitely an upgrade. They didn't even play tight ends like that last season. It was kind of like a Hail Mary with DJ Stevens. Hayden Hagler, he had basically those 2 big plays. So Shedeur, if you watch Shedeur and Hayden Hagler in an earlier in the season, the same play that Hayden and Shedeur ran during the Celebration Bowl where he dropped the ball, it's the exact same play that Hayden Hagler had earlier in the season. Exact same play.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look at Shedeur's play with DJ Stevens, if you look at that play, most of the time, the way that play was ran, it's the exact same play. The only difference is one time he did it up the left, the next time he did it up the right. So I'm thinking that they will have a much more dynamic playbook for the offense, just because the offensive coordinator, which he did a good job, but let's just keep it a buck. That was his first time being an offensive coordinator at the helm. Before that, he was literally an analyst. So he'd never had the opportunity to be an offensive coordinator. Coach Harris has been an offensive coordinator for several years, and then he has over 20 years coaching experience at all different levels in all different types of positions. They said Herman Smith scored on a block punt. So once again, those self-inflicted mistakes that they had during the Blue Blossom Classic last year, we had a lot of defensive touchdowns. Do I feel like our room at defensive backs are at the same talent level. We lose Travis Hunter, who was absolutely amazing in the games that he played in. Travis Hunter did have limited play due to the
ankle injury.
Yeah, that ankle injury. When he played, it was amazing. The most amazing play that I ever have seen in SWAC football to date is, of course, the throw between Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, literally with 0 seconds on the clock, that touchdown. Like, we had already lost the game. It was literally no time on the clock, and he threw the ball, and Travis Hunter caught it. Most amazing play ever. Shiloh Sanders, a great player. He did, if we're just keeping it a buck,
Yeah, deficiencies.
Times where he would miss tackles because he was trying to do his the headache gang. He was trying to basically open tackle, so he wasn't closing his tackles in, so he missed some tackles. And Shiloh was not he didn't get to play all season long either because, once again, he had an injury. So you lose Shiloh, you lose Travis, but you bring in some of these veteran players who have played at the FBS level. Kedron Kelligan had an amazing, I want to say, I'm going to pull that up. He had an amazing hit. I'm going to pull that video up. Hard hitting. These boys are not playing. And this is in practice. So you can imagine that if they're playing this hard at practice against their own players, imagine how hard they're going to be hitting in the actual game. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can pull it out. That particular hit. Kedron Culligan. And I want to say Kedron Culligan is a transfer from ULM.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to be able to see how all of this translates, all of these scrimmages, the coach beef, and all of the things. We're only 10 days left. So it'll be interesting to see all of that translate to basically on the field. Now all the polls are done. We don't have to listen to nobody think, what does somebody think is the top this and the top that. Now it's actually game time, and you get to see it with your own eyes, and we get to match it up.
Yeah, we get to be some hard heads.
What do you think the score is going to be for the MEAC SWAC challenge? The Bulldogs been real quiet.
The score, I would say, one of the score I'm looking at, I think, man, I'm thinking probably Jackson State. Let's say 27. Jackson State 27. South Carolina State 13. I'm just being. I'm being.
In the chat. Y'all comment in the chat what y'all think that score gonna be like. Me personally, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna be scoring 2 touchdowns on that defense.
No. It won't be 2 touchdowns. It won't be 2 touchdowns. It will probably be a touchdown and 2 field goals.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna give them the benefit. I ain't giving them the benefit of the doubt whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So
They don't know what this coaching staff will do under pressure. So, Dwayne, if this is your first time tuning in, Dwayne, the coaching staff, all of the coaching staff have been on championship caliber teams. All of them have coached. And then on each position, all of those players, on each position, you have 2 to 3, maybe even 4 players that were already previously at Jackson State, or they played at the FBS level. So let's get a look at these. We have Jackson State 31-14, JSU 42-17, Jackson State 28, South Carolina State 21. They do not have Shaq Davis on their roster anymore. Look, we gotta get Kobe on here next week.
Oh yeah, my boy, he'll be on Wednesday with me, man. He'll be on Wednesday with us.
27-14. They have never coached together. Dwayne Sweet is delusional if he thinks that these coaches haven't coached together. Okay.
If he really saying that, like when Prime was here, none of them had coached together. The only one that really coached with him was Coach Hart, and they was in high school. Like he didn't. I mean, everybody throwing these narratives out, like where they haven't coached together.
That's a good point. They've never coached together, but you had all of a sudden you had some coaches that were put together by a high school coach, and they've never coached together.
And they never coached together
with a mediocre, well, the first year, a terrible offensive line, and terrible in the sense that they weren't able to mesh well, right? And they weren't getting developed.
Oh no, yeah, they weren't getting developed. I just think when it came down to it, like people are gonna come up with their own opinion about, well, they haven't done this and they haven't done that. And to me, I'm gonna be real honest with y'all. I haven't seen, I don't even think it's a drop off with this coaching staff. Y'all can say what you want to say. People can say what they want to say, but I don't see no drop off with this coaching staff. I don't see it. I don't see drop off with this team. So
we got somebody saying overtime. Okay, what happens after overtime, all in? So when I broke down, which I don't know if people would be interested in a coach's special where we can do a coach's street, but when I broke down the positions, I also broke down the coaching staff. And one of the there's a couple of different times where the coaches meet up at one way or another. They have a coaching connection. TC Taylor was very methodical in who his coaching staff would be and who he brought on. So most of these coaches have one way or another met each other in the MEAC at North Carolina Central. There's a lot of connections there. A couple of coaches both coached at UAPB. Mm-hmm. Or, for instance, Coach Torenzo Quinn and Bradley, Coach Bradley, they both coached at Alcorn. And not only just that, they bring so much more. If you're going to talk about NFL, which you can, of course, talk about how good NFL coaching is, because NFL coaching, the people who have been on those coaching staffs, they know what the NFL is looking for and what talent looks like. But high school coaching is different from college coaching, and college coaching is different from the NFL. That's the reason why Matt Rule was a terrible NFL coach. And
he was a great NFL. I mean, he was a great college coach
at the college level.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be careful to set these narratives that because there was one or two coaches that have NFL pedigree, that means that overall that the coaching staff is not as good as, because you have an offensive coordinator who was just an analyst prior to, never had been an offensive coordinator. And you also had shakeups in the in the coaching staff. They were all just put together, and assimilated, and had never worked with each other. So these coaches have all worked with each other, or they have crossed paths. A lot of these coaches also have relationships with the Mississippi community colleges, which is paramount in the recruitment level. And we also see a return back of talent. And what I mean by that is you have Jacobian Morgan. He is from the Mississippi area. You have several different players that went off to other Power 5. They went all over, to Power 5, to FBS level schools, to other FCS schools, and they returned back to Jackson State. And they returned back to Jackson State to play for TC. I think that's probably one of the most important things, is that they said, you know what, I'm choosing JSU. So there's a lot of young men that they were playing at ULM or Louisiana Tech, or, and they have ties to Mississippi.
Right.
Joshua Clark is a linebacker who, out of high school, he was like a 3 or 4 star, and he got picked up by Ole Miss and went to Holmes Community College in Northwestern State, and he returned to Jackson State. Let me see. Duke Miller, he's from Riley, Mississippi. He went to Taylorsville High School, East Mississippi Community College, and New Mexico, and he returned to Mississippi. And once again, who's going to argue that the level of talent in Mississippi is not, it's probably one of the biggest states where players are recruited, but they're recruited to go out of Mississippi. Zay McDonald, our quarterback, who was an All-American, right? From Ridgeland, Mississippi.
Yep.
He's right from, that's hometown here. Ridgeland is what? Depending on who you talk to, Northside Drive was Jackson, and then they kind of like wanted to bridge off. So now, like, what is it, North Park Mall, they call it Ridgeland, but it's kind of like, okay, it's still kind of Jackson. Well, when I was there. But anyway, we still called that Jackson. But anyway, he went off and he returned back to Mississippi. So we have a bread of talent that has returned. Then you have folks that aren't even from Mississippi. We talk about the recruiting, and was TC Taylor going to be able to recruit outside of Mississippi? And we have kids all the way from California, Chicago, Arkansas. Isaiah Kendall is from Newport, Arkansas. I'm trying to figure out where else we have some people from.
Seven McGee and
New York. Seven McGee from New York.
Yeah, Jalin Hughes is originally from Brooklyn, and they moved to Texas. So you got a lot of kids that's from different places.
Tavarius Jones is from Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then to be able to we have Aubrey Miller, who transferred to Jackson State, and for Coach TC to get Ahmad Miller from Whitehaven High School, which is, by the way, Coach Harris's, he coached at Whitehaven High School. You got Texas. Who would have thought that Jackson State would have been able to really delve in and get that Texas talent in there? Lancaster, Texas. Noah.
Before you say it, It's Lancaster, Texas. I had to stop you.
You're wrong, but we get what you're saying. County Line Road. So County Line Road wasn't Jackson in 2005? County Line Road wasn't Jackson? When did North Park? Is it North Park? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's
we
North
have
Park.
a North Lake. We have a North Lake in Charlotte. So it's North Park, right? So
Yeah,
North Park wasn't Jackson in 2005? I thought we called it North Jackson. Maybe not. Mr. Clark says no. I say yes.
Yeah, one side is Jackson, the other side is Ridgeland. Yeah.
Mr. G, just so you know, we're not bragging. We are not bragging. But just so you know, Jackson State still has multiple analysts that are on staff. The analysis have not gone anywhere. Now, the ones that were being the analysts for last year, they might not be there. But we have on our roster, we still have analysts. I'm not bragging. That's just a little bit for you. We still have analysts on our roster, on our team. Excuse me, in our coaching staff. So the analysts are still there. And once again, Mr. G, as I stated before, the 52 years of NFL coaching experience, that is great. And it worked out well. You also had, even though you had the 52 years of NFL coaching experience, what do we all know about the differences between NFL and college? There's a difference. And do some of our coaching have the opportunity to actually participate in some of these like fellowships and stuff? I want to say that a couple of our coaches, while they are at the coaching levels, or at the college level with coaching, they still have the opportunity to either do fellowships. I want to say Coach O just recently left.
Yeah,
from
Coach O, yeah, he just did a fellowship with the 49ers.
So the red circles, Brandy, were our wide receiver coach that left, and he went to 2 or 3 different schools. I forget which one I forget. He was out of Natchez, but the wide receiver coach is one of them.
Yeah, he went over to Texas State with Coach Kenny.
Out of town. Yeah. I'm asking Mr. Clark, is North Park Mall considered North Jackson? East County Road? I don't know. I considered it North Jackson until they annexed it out into Ridgeland. Y'all just don't want to call it Jackson. It's still Jackson. If or when TC wins the Celebration Bowl, will he be a better coach than Coach Brian? So, I don't think that Coach TC's era deserves to be compared to Coach Prime, even though we know that it will be.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's going to be.
I don't think that it deserves to be, compared, because it's so much different. But if you're able to, thank you, start in Atlanta and finish in Atlanta, and you lost 60 to 65 players and recruited the number one HBCU class after a huge coach exits, the number 2 FCS class, which I'm going to debate. And the reason I'm going to say that is because there's a lot of players that if you go to 247 Sports, they are not entered into the 247 Sports underneath Jackson State. It's like somebody stopped entering in our 3 stars and 3 stars and 2 stars. And that's fine. You don't have to enter them in. We got the number 1 HBCU class, but we're number 2 in all of FCS. exiting coach, big time coach. And for TC Taylor to come in and be able to still recruit at such a high level with a two-man, it was a two-man show. So you had Coach O and Coach TC Taylor at the helm.
Mm-hmm.
Pour out some liquor for Metro Center Mall. Oh man. Metro Center Mall could have been something so great. It really could have, with the SuperCard at Jackson State, and you know, the possibilities were endless.
Man, that SuperCard paid dividends. I'm for real. Like, it literally paid.
You know what? I feel like it was kind of like a farce. See, I needed my refund check. If you get caught up with the SuperCard and you just swiping money off, like, okay, let me go put $300 or $400 on my SuperCard. You get reckless with the SuperCard.
I can't say, because
And we have an announcement, and you know what? I can go ahead and pull that up because I did see that on the roster. So we have a wide receiver coach, and he came from Texas State.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and pull that up. Bryson Abraham. That's our new wide receiver. No, that's wide receivers. Yep, that's it. Let me see if I can pull him up.
Cool.
Let me see. Metro had the ability to be so great. It really did. That could have been like the Black Mecca Mall. All right, so let's read about Coach Abraham. So Bryson Abraham was named the wide receivers coach at Jackson State in 2023. He spent the previous 3 seasons at Texas State. Last season, Ashton Hawkins posted 4 100-yard receiving games in only 9 contests, while setting a school record for receptions in a game with 13 at Baylor, in earning second-team All-Sun Belt honors. In 2022, Marcel Barbie was named a third-team All-Sun Belt Conference selection. Barbie ranked second in the Sun Belt with 10 touchdown catches, and he led the Bobcats with 40 catches and 584 receiving yards. First-team All-American return specialist Jeremiah Hadel caught 40 passes for 408 yards and 4 touchdowns. Hadel ranked third nationally and led the Sun Belt Conference in combined kick return yards. With 687 yards, and was one of only 2 NCAA Division I FBS players to return a kickoff and punt for a touchdown. He was one of only 2 NCAA Division I FBS players to return a kickoff and punt for a touchdown. Wow. Javen Banks had 16 catches for 299 yards and 4 touchdowns, while Travis Graham Jr. caught 24 passes for 271 yards and 2 touchdowns. Abraham came to Texas State after serving 2 seasons as the wide receivers coach at Presbyterian. He produced a pair of all Big South wide receivers who set a school record and ranked among the top 2 receivers in the Big South each season. Okay. So it seems like he's got some experience at the FBS level. Abraham went to Presbyterian after coaching corners at Louisiana's Ruston High School in 2017. He began his coaching career as a graduation assistant defensive coach at Louisiana Tech after taking part in a 2016 minicamp with the Detroit Lions. As a student athlete, Abraham was a second-team All-Conference USA and second-team All-Louisiana selection as a defensive back at Louisiana Tech in 2015. He led the nation with 4 defensive touchdowns and 3 interception returns for touchdowns. Wow.
That's a good resume.
Yep. and he collected 156 tackles, 113 solo, 8 interceptions, 22 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and a block kick throughout his career. He played on 2 Bulldogs teams that won the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl in 2014 and the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl in 2015. He also played in the 2011 Poinsettia Bowl. And he's a native of Jennings, Louisiana. Graduated from LA Tech. So that's a little bit about our new wide receivers coach, Bryson Abraham. He's been there for a while. They're just now putting up his bio, basically.
That's cool. I like that.
So we're stacked. We're stacked. Our secret weapon, of course, is the strength and conditioning. I will always say that. Joe Perkins, I forgot to mention him. FIU, he went to FIU, but Joe Perkins is a hometown hero as well. Did you know that?
Was that?
Joe Perkins, the safety.
Oh, okay.
He's probably going to be a strong safety. Let me see.
So Keydrain is going to be a strong safety. I'm thinking Joe Perkins might be a strong safety, but I know it says it's a free safety. But it says could be free safety. He can play corner. He can play nickel. He's versatile.
I think they got the corners lot. I think they'll just keep him at free safety then, probably. Yeah. Joe Perkins, let me pull it up so I know I'm saying the right. He's from Madison, Mississippi. Madison Ridgeland Academy.
MRA.
He went to Florida International. But yeah, a lot of these, that's what I was saying. Like a lot of these players are returning back to home. And it's great to see. Tim Stewart, I'm definitely going to play at the nickel. He's from Hazelhurst, Mississippi. And he went to Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College in Troy. And as a graduate student, he is here at Jackson State University. So a lot of folks coming from the SIP. Oh, it says Joe Perkins' dad played for JSU. So he's a legacy. Sean Perkins is Joe Perkins' dad. Okay. So there's also a couple of players whose parents went to Jackson State, graduated from Jackson State, and they coming back.
Yep. I will be, I'll be checking out one of them up the road from me. Ethan Terrell. Over here at I'm about to say TCU. Louisville High School.
Who's at Louisville High School?
Ethan Terrell.
Oh, okay.
So
Ethan Terrell, that's his grandfather played for Jackson State, right?
Yeah, grandfather played for Jackson State.
Mom went to
Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's our 2024 commit, correct?
Yes, it is. And I think there's some other kids that's on that squad, that's on that Louisville squad that I think they might be swayed to go to Jackson State also. I'm hoping I'm hoping that they are.
Is that Ethan Terrell, the high school that he went to? That's the same school that Quay Davis, our offensive lineman, went to, correct?
He went to Louisville. That was he blocked on his left side. So getting him coming in and getting Ethan to actually Even though if people went to Jackson, but still getting him actually to commit to Jackson State is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I
like I said, if the front doesn't pick it up, I just feel like the linebackers will get it, and then if the linebackers don't get it, we have the hard hitting defensive backs and the secondary that will get the job done. It's one thing when you can say, "Oh, we have a strong defensive line," but it's another thing to say that we have on our defense in every single position. Not only do we have strong players, but we're 2 and 3 deep with regard to the roster.
Ooh, Timona, sis, I got another quote for us. It's for Hugh Jackson.
Oh Lord.
Hugh gonna Hugh.
What?
Hugh
What
gonna
did
Hugh.
you do? What did you do?
Nothing. Nothing. You ain't did nothing. That's the thing. He ain't did nothing. So Hugh gonna Hugh.
Hugh is not playing Jackson State this year, so he'll
I
just
ain't
have
talking
to.
about just. I'm talking about
Oh,
when
okay.
he just in the SWAC period.
I guess that kind of like he's gonna pick it up this year, right? Because then how people are arguing about the level of experience at the NFL. Well, you have Hugh Jackson, who's an NFL level coach. So if we're gonna keep utilizing that NFL coaching as an excuse, we're gonna have to see some progression, right?
Yeah, you got to, cause dude, you went your last time you coached in the NFL. You were
Oh,
1-31.
Mr. Haynes said, "Hello, guys. Just checking in. No fly zone. What about that running zone?" Mr. Haynes is messy.
That's
Why
MEAC.
he
That's
so
MEAC. So
messy?
that's MEAC. So let him know we
Why
let
is
him
he
know
worried
that
about the run zone? They not running either. Who you running? What defensive line you running into? What linebackers are you running into?
oh my God, it was a big old accident in front of my apartment, y'all.
Oh. Public service announcement. I don't know why EA is telling folks business, or maybe he's just saying that. We have a rash of injuries on the offensive line, defensive line. That's really setting us back. We were already challenged there, so with y'all D line, we in hell trouble. So maybe EA is coming over here to just spread misinformation. We weren't worried about it anyway.
He's spreading alternative facts.
Yeah, he said that he had a rash of injuries. As much as y'all cheered for the recruit that y'all got from Jackson State, I don't want to hear no excuses. No self-inflicted nothing, EA. Even if you coming over here spreading misinformation. We do not care. You might not have no injuries on the offensive line or defensive line, but even with no injuries, y'all are still gonna lose. Bad.
Ooh, this smelling burning over here.
Saw clips of FAMU scrimmage. Mr. Walker got the inside track. He said that he saw clips of FAMU scrimmage. FAMU's defense is stout, giving credit where it's due. So, Mr. Walker, is FAMU's defense stout against FAMU's offense, or is FAMU's defense stout against other defenses, or excuse me, other offenses? That's what we need to figure out. There's a lot of people that saw these FAMU clips. Y'all drop them in my drop me the link to the FAMU scrimmage so we can do an inside mole operative FAMU so we can see my son, Lord, so we can see if FAMU's quarterback is eyeing more than one receiver. That's what I want to know. Is he eyeing more than one receiver? Is he doing pre-snap reads? Is he moving when he's blitzed? So I want to know those questions. They're stout and play well together as a unit. Okay. So a couple people said that FAMU's looking real good.
They better look real good, shoot. They better look real good, shoot. They
Mr.
got that
Walker
56
said
point.
he had a chance to see the preseason SWAC player of the year. So I need him to come on the chat and let me know, is it as advertised?
Mr. G put something up. He said that Ethan would get a lot of looks by other schools. I hope he honors his commitment, but teenagers are fickle. I wouldn't be surprised if he decommits. I don't think he'll decommit. I think he'll stay with his pick because it's more of the legacy. I think he has his commit is strong. So, but like you said, we won't know until it, you know what I'm saying, until that happens. So
yeah, I mean, I will say this: there's a lot of players that when they said that they were getting ready to commit to Jackson State, they did see an increase in interest from other schools, and we'll see how that works out. Matter of fact, we're going to see one of the quarterbacks in that Texas State game, right? One of our recruits that decided to go to Texas State.
yeah, PJ Hatter.
So we will see. But that goes to show you the level of talent that Jackson State was able to acquire, because Texas State is an FBS level school. Bless you, baby. We got the commit from PJ Hatter committed to us, right? And then Texas State went after him. But that just goes to show you that Jackson State, even at the FCS level, is competing with FBS schools to gain recruits. And someone said that Hatter isn't starting. And, usually at the FBS level, a lot of times, very rarely do freshmen start. I want to say one of our quarterbacks started as a true freshman. Was it Jacobian Morgan? Mr. Haynes said he'll send me $20 if I wear a MEAC hat, which I will not do. I'm not getting ready to I'm definitely not getting ready to sell myself out with a MEAC hat. So thank you, Mr. Haynes, for the offer, but I will not be honoring that at all. But, if you would like to make a donation to the channel, thank you so much for bringing that up, Mr. MEAC over there. You can make a donation. They're always welcome. Of course, I'll put that information up towards the end of the live. You got anything to say, Doc? You said on Saturday it's your wife's birthday. So you're not going to be on? I think he said that.
No, it's going to be Monday. I'm not going to be on Saturday because she comes back in Saturday from Nebraska, and going to do a little bit of celebrating. But Monday is her actual birthday.
Okay. And as you all, well, a lot of y'all didn't know, but my birthday was this past Monday. I'm not going to tell you my age, but yeah.
She's birthday.
36. That's my boy. Get him.
Y'all.
That was funny.
my son just did that.
Put
Like,
you out there.
I mean, he did not have to do that. Like,
Oh, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad because my child puts me out. My baby girl puts me out there all the time. Daddy, do it look like I'm 43 years old?
the fact
No,
that my
but
son just did that. See, this is why I gotta start putting my son to bed before before my lives, because he just smooth like put me on blast. Like 35 would have been nice. You ain't have to tell all my business.
all you do just say, all you do just do like the missus. She say, so what you turning? She like, I'm turning 21 again.
20, 25 and holding, is that what they say?
Nah, you see her, if you see her in real life, in person, she looks like she could pass to be 21.
Doc, you know how to keep them. You know how to keep her. Just tell her yes. There we go.
It's like, hey, but I always say black don't crack though.
Right, and you're right. It doesn't. Wow. So I wasn't right, Mr. Walker. Just telling all my poor little business. So I, of course, will be going to the SWAC MEAC Challenge this coming Saturday. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Yeah, and I'm excited. Of course, as Mr. Campbell made an announcement earlier in the live, I have a sponsorship with iWeave Hair. Stay tuned for more details. And then, of course, we have more details coming soon. Doc, since you have are you having a show tomorrow?
Yes, I am. So tomorrow night, I have Alabama A&M's the Big Bulldog AD Paul Bryant will be on the show tomorrow night. So we'll discuss, his initiatives and how he's getting, how he's able to motivate folks, especially for the football program, how to donate to the program, and we're gonna ask the question, what's up with the dog houses? So yeah, Saturday, not gonna do it. Like I said, Saturday we just chilling. I'm not gonna do anything. Plus the Cowboys play Saturday night, so I'm gonna catch that. We're gonna try to catch that, and then Monday.
You said the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan.
Okay, so we're gonna see Isaiah Land and Marquise Bell in action.
Oh yeah, Marquise Bell was balling. He was balling this past Saturdays. He had 10 tackles in the game against Jacksonville. So he was out there balling. Isaiah Land, he was contributed to the defense.
Was he coming off the edge? Do they have him at the edge?
They got him as a defensive end. So they got him as a hybrid. So he is a hybrid DN outside linebacker. So he's pretty much almost like in the same boat as Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons is like, he can, he can come out the edge as a linebacker. He can come as a stand-up linebacker. He could put his hand in the dirt. Like he's all around. So I think that's what he's doing right now. They doing with Isaiah Land. Being a Dan Quinn's defensive system is a godsend, because I think he'll be on somebody's he'll be on the Cowboys. If he doesn't get on the 53, he'll get on the practice squad, and he'll be able to develop and show himself that he could actually go out there and play, to be a baller.
Right. How you doing, Mr. Walker?
Hey now, hey. Yeah,
what's
just
up,
give an update. Man, what's going on, man?
Them Cowboy fans be worse than the Rattlers.
Oh man, yeah, the Cowboy fans, they just believe. They believe now.
I'm a realist.
Believe.
I'm a realist. I'm a realist. Let's get. I want to get everybody get this straight. I'm a realist. Now, everybody's whole goal about being a Cowboy is to go to the Super Bowl, but I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with people. So, so I'm not delusional.
It's just, to me, it's just the two players that I think that the Cowboys should have just built everything around. All the Cowboy fans attack me. I just know what they can do. And if they're in the right, I always say that Dak could be better and Zeke should still be on that team. You should have just fixed the offensive line. That's just my opinion, though.
Wait. Well, I mean, didn't he sign with the Patriots?
Yeah, he signed with the Patriots.
Patriots shaping up kind of nice. Bolden might have he got a good team. They might be going to the Super Bowl.
No,
not on that.
Why they don't have a quarterback?
Well, no, it's just. I mean, you talking about Tom Brady, New England, or are you talking about New England now?
New England now.
Oh, that's Belichick is their coach, so that's nah.
You said Bella? Did you just call him Belichick?
Oh, I mean Belichick. My bad. I'm sorry, Belichick. My bad.
Oh,
my bad. But nah, but see, that division is probably one of the tougher divisions in football. You got Miami. You got the.
They said that the problem is that, and I would say that perpetually Cowboys does have a problem with holding on to quarterbacks longer than they should. That's no shade. I lived in Austin, Texas till I was 8 years old, from like 3 years old to 8 years old. So I was there when they won the Super Bowl, but they perpetually hold on to their quarterbacks a little bit too long. Like,
I mean, but like I said, but Belichick them.
Tony Romo, was it Romo that should have been called? Romo
was that
way too long?
Well, Romo started having them back injuries. He started having them back injuries.
Yeah, when he got hit in the game against Seattle in preseason, I mean, that's how that came on the scene. So that's what that's how Dak Prescott came on the scene.
But now New England, they'll finish last in that division because they're going. I mean, think about it. You want me to name the teams that they got?
I know Miami, the Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins, the Bills,
and the Jets,
Oh yeah, that's
the new Jets. So again, Belichick. I have to practice saying that. You know what I'm saying? Because from all these large, I mean, great media people, they always say he's the best coach of all time.
Avis said Romo is better than Dak right now.
I mean,
somebody said Tua after he had 2 concussions is better than Dak right now. Sheesh.
No. But Romo is better than Dak. I'm gonna put I say that. I said that even on first letter. I said that he was Romo was better than Dak. Romo had that it factor. Romo did, and when it came down to it, Romo did not. When it came down to it to take the blame, he took all the blame.
I don't know, but like I said, but just to give insight, FAMU defense is good. They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Are they SWAC good? What kind of good are they?
No, I think they're SWAC good.
No, they're a little better than SWAC good. I'll say that. They're a little better.
So
they're a little better.
Are they better than last year? Because last year they had some run-ins with some of the teams in the SWAC, like Alabama State, which was a close call. They are
about 25% better than they were last year.
25% better than
yeah, but see, the only thing that they're missing, in my opinion, is that dominant rush like they had with Land. But as far as the DBs, they're pretty good. Linebacker crew, pretty good, and shockingly, they have a real nice defensive line.
So you said that the wide receiver room, when you were talking about it, you said that they've upgraded the wide receiver room.
Yeah, I like Sherrod. I think he does deserve that SWAC preseason. I think he does. And I like the kid from I love the kid from Utah. Love him. Yeah, he can play.
Someone asked the question, was this a FAMU scrimmage highlight reel or actual scrimmage?
You know, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil.
Okay. Okay. So were you able to see if the quarterback is doing pre-snap reads? Is he doing quarterback hurries? Is he getting the ball out quickly? What's the offensive line looking like?
Offline. We'll talk about that offline. I give you the whole scoop. But yeah, I mean,
anybody else that got the
Musa is the best quarterback in the SWAC. He really is. And I mean, it's just like Bill Belichick is the best coach of all time. So yeah, I think they're two of the same. I think they're two of the same.
Wait, so do you think Bill Belichick and Musa are the same?
They're the best. Yeah,
so
both of them. Just like Belichick, you know, Bill Belichick is the best coach of all time, and I think Musa is better than anybody in Jackson State's QB room.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord. Read between the lines. Yeah, I missed it, but I got it.
But no, seriously though. But no, they are fielding. They're fielding a good team though. They really are.
Okay.
I mean, because like I said, their defense, they fly to the ball. They really do.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's my preference though. I love defenses because see, I'm a Chicago Bear fan. So, you know, notice all them times when Chicago had great defenses, they would fly to the ball. Like everybody, they just flying to the ball. Whoever had the ball in their hand, they finna 5 or 6 guys finna meet you with that ball. You know, so, you know, I've always like, you know, if you look at Jack State the last 2 years, that's what they did. That's what they've done. You know, you just fly to the ball.
Hey, I got a question for you. Off topic. Do you think the 85 Bears defense was better than the 2000 Ravens defense?
Yep.
Anything, sir, before the 90s, arguably, because it was a different time in football. Anything arguably before the 90s, when you're comparing it, it's a level that you have to compare it to. Like the way they play football now, it's kind of almost like flag football or touch football compared to.
Well, I can give you my argument on that. One reason why I say the 85 Bears defense was the best is because off of their defense, they created 3 great head coaches off their defense.
Yeah.
Mike Singletary, Ron Rivera, and Leslie Frazier. You see what I'm saying? So anytime off of one defensive unit, you can have 3 of the better coaches of all time. That's, you know, not saying, you know, they're the best of all time, but I'm just saying some of the greater coaches in the history of football itself. And you got 3 head coaches that come off of one defense. That's what makes them the greatest of all time to me. Because that was unheard of.
Right.
And that's still unheard of.
Right.
That's unheard of. Now, you probably can get some great coordinators, and then, you know, you can get, you know, an Ed Reed that, you know, said that he turned down a job at Jackson State, but nobody found his resume. But that's a whole nother thing. I mean, but like I said, now, one reason why I say that they're a solid number two is because I mean they had that boy, man. I mean Ray Lewis. I mean Ray Lewis is just he Ray Lewis. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just think that's my argument. You know, with the '85 Bears, is that not only did they have about 7 guys that made All Pro that year. And you actually had 6 of the guys that actually are Pro Football Hall of Fame, and that's unheard of. That's 6 out of 11 players, and then 3 of them became head coaches. I ain't talking about just DCs. I'm talking about head coaches in the NFL. So, that's one reason why I would rank them. And then the thing about it is that they only gave up like 8 points a game. 9 points a game, which the Ravens did break there because I think they came up with like 8 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my argument on that. But I just think I think it's going to be very interesting this year in the SWAC. It's going to be very, very interesting. Now there are some teams that have been picked, and I'm not talking about FAMU, that a lot of people are picking over there in that West, and again, they ain't as good as they bragging about. I say that.
In the West?
In the West, they are not as good as they bragging about. They are not as good because the thing about in the SWAC this year, you're gonna have to be able to throw the football. Because there's a bunch of people that has great defensive line. You got Jackson State, you got FAMU, you got Grambling. These guys, Alabama State. These guys got defensive, line, and you're gonna have to be able to throw the football. But the only thing is that it's gonna come down to your back end as well. Do you have receivers that can actually, do you have DBs that can actually cover? That's what it's going to come down to.
Well, you said that they have to be able to throw. So just looking at the West, we have Andrew Body of Texas Southern, Tyler Macon of Alcorn, which we don't necessarily know. He's coming in off of being a true freshman from Mizzou. We don't know if he's going to take that starting spot. Harold Blood of Southern.
In which he only played in mop up duties and stuff like that. Then you got Miles Crowley, who was he was the better quarterback when he was at Alabama State.
Well, I'll say Calvez has improved now. He's improved.
What's that for Prairie View?
No, Calvez from Grambling. He has improved from what I've seen.
3.8 Grambling.
Yeah, that's
they lost their biggest
Grambling. Okay. Let me just talk to my Grambling beloved. Okay. Prior to COVID in 2020, I was a college football referee. So I've been around. I've seen this astute coach named Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson is the kind of coach that if you sit there for just 5 minutes, you would think that you're talking to Newt Rockne, Bart Starr. You would think that you're talking to, whomever you might think the greats are. That's who you think you were talking to. But when it comes to implementation on the field, I'm not hating Graham, fam. I understand that y'all got a brand new offense coordinator, which I just hope that Hugh doesn't and try to take over those calling, those try to take over the play call. But I just know that, somebody that says they got 1,000 plays, but then you call a change of a play is because a guard blocked left instead of right. That's that's not a different play. That's just a blocking assignment. But anyway, that's the Hugh that I know.
They bought in Miles Crawley though from Alabama.
Yeah. I mean, but like I said, I'm just saying that Hugh, you have to really, really watch Hugh because he's a great interviewer, if you will. He's probably the best. Like if he ran for president, he would get a lot of votes. He's that good at interviewing. But when it comes to implementation, interviewing, I give him a 12. Implementation, I'll give him a -80.
Well, we got a poll in the chat, so go ahead and vote. Who is the best quarterback in the West? Harold Blood of Southern, Andrew Body of Texas Southern, Tyler Macon of Alcorn, Calvez of Kremlin, or Miles Crawley. Or I would think Miles wouldn't transfer unless he thought he was going to get the starting spot. We don't have that many votes in, but overwhelmingly everybody's going for Andrew Body. So
you know what?
Not even close.
Sis, you know what though? You can say the same thing with Jason Brown. I wouldn't think he would have transferred in from South Carolina or Virginia Tech, wherever his last school was, just to hold the clipboard.
He's
now
not.
there is a great quarterback that's coming up through the ranks on the east side. I mean, I like him. I mean, he's lanky. That's my only concern. Will he be able to take hits? But I love that young man, Quad Brown, that Alabama A&M has. I think Maynard finally has his guy. I truly believe. I think he got his guy. I think he has his guy. That Quad Brown from the transfer from Georgia State. I think he has his guy. I think he's been licking his chops to try to find the guy, and I think he had.
Do you think
I ain't gonna say he's
Alabama
I don't know.
A&M
He's not a quill glass. No. And they still can't stop Whitehaven High School. So nah. I'm just talking about as far as scoring points. They should be able to score. But with FAMU, if I was Coach Simmons, man, I would feature that big 6'2", 245-pound running back that can move.
Who is that?
They got a running back. He about 6'1", 6'2", 6 feet, between 6 feet, 6'2", but I know he's of a bit of 245 pounds.
Good.
Yeah, he look like a big Brahma bull.
An ox coming through there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's pretty good too.
To take him down.
Yeah, he's pretty good too. So I mean, like I said, the SWAC is going to be very interesting. But like I said, I'm sorry, Gremlin, and I'm not hating. I just know that I've been around Hugh Jackson, man. I've been around him even before he came to Tennessee State, and then after he left Tennessee State, I want my Gremlin people to understand one thing. When he left Tennessee State, he was out of football 2 whole seasons before he became you guys' head coach. So I just hope that y'all didn't make that higher, Graham fam. I hope y'all get where I'm going with it. Because if you're a sought after coach, there aren't any years off. So, like I said, Hugh is gonna. I'm not convinced, but maybe, like I said, maybe he sees now that he could possibly be on the hot seat, and maybe he'll kind of take the reins back and just watch the game.
On the hot seat, he only had 1
year.
Yeah, but Grambling got a brand.
Yeah, they got a huge brand. And the thing about it is, you got to understand with that, even Bruce Eugene, because remember Doc did the show. Bruce Eugene was wanting to come back and help, and Hugh, didn't want to answer the phone and all.
Like that. I really don't like when people do that from their prospective schools. They're putting like all their business out on Front Street. The SWAC is petty, so we're gonna comment on it, but I just don't like when they do stuff like that. Like it came off as kind of like if he would have hired you, he would have been the best thing since sliced bread. But because he didn't hire you, all of a sudden he's X, Y, and Z. You got to give the guy a chance to develop his team.
Yeah, but when you got a
overnight.
but when you got a fan base and alumni like Grambling, they don't settle for less. Like seriously. And that's the reason why a lot of folks a lot of folks said, well, he was in his feelings, but all in all, to me, I just feel like if he would have came back in the SWAC, you know, he ain't got to be a head coach. He don't have to be an offensive coordinator. Help with a quarterback. He's a quarterback. Shit, he's the
Him doing that is not. It's unless he just thinks that he's gonna be next in line to be head. What does he want to be head coach? Like I just didn't understand why the salt was thrown. Let that man build, because some of these coaches, they didn't realize that the Build-A-Bear transfer portal, the importance and impact that it has on college football. Like all these coaches who use high school recruits and they develop, they're having to realize that unless you're a coach like Coach Pugh, where your spot is safe, pretty much safe regardless of how many losses you have, you cannot just wait for kids to develop. Like you need to have immediate impact. So one of the things that Deion Sanders did was he basically had athletes that were trained at the FBS level. He had them come in the JUCO ranks so that they already had the minimum training that's required to compete at a high level in college. And then at that point, they just needed some strength and conditioning and a little bit of tweaking. And he was able to go undefeated 2 years in a row in the SWAC. So now that the SWAC has basically caught up to, okay, this is how we're going to be able to compete. Now we're seeing that folks are utilizing transfer portal, but some people had some duds. Like Alabama A&M brought in like 20 defensive backs one year, and I'm going to just say this, there wasn't very much development, or there wasn't a reward for getting that many transfer DBs out the transfer portal.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think, like I said, I think like I said, the SWAC gonna be very interesting this year. It's gonna be very interesting. And like I said, there's a lot of teams out there that are slated to be good, but I don't see it. I don't see it. You know, maybe I could be wrong, but I've been around football. I ain't been wrong too many times. All I gotta do is
Mr. G says that FAMU has one of the best running backs rooms, so they're gonna go from last in. Rushing.
Like I said, they got that big 240 some pound dude. Yeah, him by himself can be a quarterback room. I mean, a running back room.
UAPB, the coach Coach Alonzo Hampton, I did an interview with him, and he was talking about how their running back room was stout, and I want to say was it second overall? Maybe second overall in the SWAC, and he was talking about how all of their running backs are actually returning. He's returning all of them this coming year. I think that's saying that the FAMU is going to have the best running back room. Is
no, in my humble opinion, I think, to be honest, I think Southern has the best running back room in the SWAC. I think that's how they're going to score points. I really do.
Yeah,
I believe that's how they're going to score points. Yeah. I mean, I like FAMU's running back room, and of course, you got to go with Alcorn because they have the best, running back in the SWAC. Well, they actually have right now the best offensive player in the SWAC.
Yeah.
They got the best offensive player. That's what bows my prediction. Saying that J State and all corners are going to run it back for the SWAC championship because they found their. See, one thing about Fred McNair, when he finds his guy, he normally wins.
When you say his guy, you mean Tyler Macon?
Yeah.
So the only issue that I have with that is that Tyler Macon is basically a freshman coming in. So is he going to be a Shedeur Sanders this year?
No, that's not his style. That's not his style. His style is more like
run.
He's more like he's an RPO guy. Yeah. He's an RPO guy.
So I don't think he'd be like a Shedeur Sanders, but just because he has a bell cow at running back. Actually, he has 3 good running backs. He has one great running back and 2 good running backs in his backfield. So you got Jarvion Howard, who is the main, who's going to be the main attraction. Then you have Nico Duffy, who is really your switchblade. He's going to be coming out of the backfield. He's going to be lined up in the slot. He could be a receiver. He's going to be in a sense, like, I will put it like this. He would be a DeAnthony Thomas from Oregon in that sense. And then you have Javante Leatherwood, who is the big bruiser. He's like 235 pounds. So Tyler won't have to do a lot, but he's gonna have to be able to throw the ball when it is needed in certain games.
He can.
Not against Jackson State though. Y'all be safe.
Yeah, you might want to be safe on that one, but
Not against Jackson State though.
Yeah, but no, he's pretty good. Like I said, the better quarterbacks that I've seen, Musa, Conley, I'm gonna say, of course, Andrew Body, Quad Brown from A&M. Calvez has gotten better, but I think the other guy, Crawler's going to edge that one out. Who else? Conley. I said Conley. Conley. I said Conley. And whomever for JSU. So there's going to be some
deep. Whomever from JSU.
Because the quarterback room is deep. You know why I said that. I mean, it's going to be some decent quarterback play this year. Decent. I don't say you might not have no. Besides J State, I'll say this, and maybe Musa. Those will be your 3,000 yard passes this year.
I'm gonna tell you who you might want to.
Sorry, and Quad Brown. Quad Brown.
You might want to check out Valley.
They
might be able to run a 2 QB system with Jamari Jones and then Dino.
Yeah, the transfer from New Mexico. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like him. I actually like the transfer from New Mexico better.
Mm-hmm.
To me, but like I said, the best QB in that room to me is that incoming freshman that's from your neck of the woods.
Yeah, Jaden Sisk.
He can spin it. They
look good. I seen they little clip from the
but their coach has a tremendous pedigree. So you have to see, a lot of people have to take the emotions out, and you have to look at the pedigree of the coaches. Just take the emotions out. I mean, that coach, he comes from a D2 powerhouse. So you don't think he's gonna bring any of that to Valley?
Oh no, he already said he bringing all that stuff. I
mean, you got to look at the pedigree. I mean, even I hear people talking about TC and this. I mean, the man has a pedigree, man. Like, he was on championship teams. as an OC.
Mm-hmm.
Just like and I mean and to be honest, Willie Simmons has a great pedigree. I mean, the man learned from one of the best families that you can learn from to coach football. That man learned from the Bowden family tree. He was a grad assistant after he played quarterback for 4 years at Clemson. He was a GA under Bowden. Not the dad, but one of the sons.
Yeah,
That was
under
the head
Tommy.
coach. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of people that if you just take your hater blockers off and just look at their pedigree, like these are some well-trained coaches. They've learned from some greats, and they've been part of great teams and this and that, But like I said, I mean, even Hugh Jackson has been part of great coaching staffs. I mean, he wasn't great, but he was part of great coaching staff.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, he wasn't great, but he was part. I mean, he at least learned how to, sell himself by listening to other coaches and going to Office Depot and running off the same play 400 times, talking about it's different. So,
Mr. Walker, that is
I'm
shade.
sorry. I'm sorry. I hate that for Grambling. No, I hate that. No, I'm serious. I hate that for Grambling because Grambling is a blue blood school and they don't deserve that. They don't deserve it, and that's why. And then the thing about it is, I mean, come on now, give me one winning season that Hugh Jackson ever had. One.
Somebody in the chat said he was like 11 of 44, but he claims that they made him tank.
Oh well, okay. Well, I mean, I guess so. I mean, I guess.
He's not getting paid to tank no more. Now he's getting paid to win. So it's
right. I mean, I guess he got paid to tank. I mean, I know Baker Mayfield can't stand him, so and Carson Palmer despises him. So I guess I don't know. Maybe they know something I don't know, but I've heard from some of these horses' mouths that I just named that they can't stand him. But okay,
did you see our new kicker, Mr. Walker?
Huh?
Did you see our new kicker?
Oh man, yeah, he can kick.
We got some kickers, coach.
Yeah, he can kick. He can kick. I hate what happened to Luke Jackson because he can kick, but that Noel that's coming in, he can kick. Yeah, he can kick. He can really, really kick, and he's accurate too, because he was doing hash kicking. And how you discover a great kicker is when you can do what's called hash kicking. In hash kicking, that's when you go in the middle, you go to each side of the hash, and then you just you're kicking them straight. You're kicking a straight line through the goalpost. So anytime you can do that, and start at the 10, then go to the 20, then go to the 30, then go to the 40, and you straight and you kicking them straight line. That's a good kicker. So yeah, Jack State got a good one coming in. I like Southern's kicker too. Hell, I like FAMU's kicker too. It's a lot. Like I said, the SWAC gonna be interesting this year. But like I said, I just don't want certain people to be upset with me when they see that their school that's been talking a gang of noise, their product is not that good. Don't get mad at me. Please don't get mad at me.
So you saying that they don't have nothing to back up all that talk? I'm gonna end the shows, but I do want to show our.
But they got some great players on their team. But the way I'm just saying the way that they're talking. Oh, okay. And the way that the SWAC, was they not as good as what they think they are. I'll say that.
Are they on the east or the west that's doing all the talking?
On the west side. Yeah, on the west side. But I mean, of course, you got some on the east. Jay White, he gonna talk noise for A&M. Uncle Campbell gonna talk for FAM and EA and all of them. So it's noise talkers everywhere. But I'm just saying, it's just this one school that's talking a gang of noise that they aren't as good as they think that they are. They just not. and I seen it live, and Mr. Crook has said that I haven't, and I know I got 2 eyes in a car, but okay. But they, nah, they're not as good as I thought they would be, because I was thinking, like, when they was talking noise, like, this is some big juggernaut, and when I saw them, it was the same thing that I saw last year. So yeah, but no, I in my humble opinion, I really think this is going to be one of the better years in the SWAC. I really think there's going to be some strong teams. The ones I'm saying probably going to be at the bottom, East Division, I'm going to say in the East, probably Valley, BCU. It's going to be a toss-up between the 2 Alabama teams. I think it's going to come down to the Magic City Classic with those 2. And on the West, it's going to be Grambling, PB, and I think you're going to have a bunch of teams with like 5-5 records, 5-6 records over there on the West side.
So a whole bunch of 5s and 6 battling it out to win the West.
Yeah, I think it'll be more like I think it'll be just like last
that's what happened last year. It was literally Texas Southern had the edge, and it was literally a battle.
But see, the only thing is that people got to watch out, because Alcorn has a quarterback. So that's what I'm saying. If you go back to the history, and you look at, and you take your school eyes off every time that Fred McNair, based on history now, let me preface that, every time he has a decent quarterback, he wins. Every time. So, I mean, so I mean, of course, the West is not going to be like a great division. We all know that. I mean, let's not be stupid, but the better division is the Eastern Division. But like I said, yeah, it really is. I mean, you think about it. I mean, you got Alcorn, Southern, PV, Texas Southern is a maybe. So, I mean, think about it. What else you got left? And see, the thing about it is, PV, my only thing with them is they're gonna have to stop. They're gonna have to stop trying to run the ball every down. You gotta utilize that Conley. You gotta let him throw it sometime.
Right.
Let him see if he can throw it. I believe he can, but the question is does Bubba McDowell, does he believe? See, it comes down to the coach's belief.
Well,
and personnel too,
We less than eight days away. The Jackson State Tigers are playing under the lights. They're going to be practicing. I don't know if they're going to do it for the rest of the week, but they just released a press release that the football practiced under the lights for the first time, and that acting president Dr. Elaine Anthony, approved funding for lighting on the practice field and around the newly surfaced track to provide athletes a way to beat the record August temperatures in preparation for the season. So, you ready, Mr. Walker?
I am so, look, when I say you guys, man, I am so ecstatic. I am so ready for this season. We've been talking noise all summer long. Man, it's time to get it on. It is time.
Big noise. Polls, everything. Preseason
yeah.
polls. Who's the best this? Who's the best that?
Yeah.
And now it's crunch time.
But what I do want to send out to other people, to other schools, I'm gonna say this: people don't have number one recruiting classes, and they're sorry. I'm gonna leave that at that. But this is gonna be a year to remember. I think this gonna be it. Finally, since FAMU saying that the playing field is even, hey, let's put them spikes on and let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's see. So you're gonna have some real, but I will say this, as far as the pageantry and as far as viewership and the attendance, I want to give everybody that's a SWAC fan a high five because, and I'm gonna tell you why I want to say that, is because the build up for this year it's been insane. It's been like a Steven Spielberg movie, like a new Star Wars movie. Like, hey man, it's time to get it on. And I, although we talk noise about each other and stuff like that, but I'm being real. I'm being Cedric now. Like, I want to give a high five to everybody in the SWAC, everybody in the culture, because it's also great for us as a culture because, now we see the light of us being able to have more attendance at the game, more viewership, over your TV, and viewership that goes down to radio as well. A lot more, as the young kids say, the merch is going to be bought, and now you actually have, alumnus giving back to their prospective universities. So right now is a great time to be in the HBCU culture, and I want to say I'm very appreciative to the culture. Bring it back to what it's supposed to be.
Amen. And on that note, we're going to leave out, of course, to the Jackson State University. If you're still in the chat, make sure you like and subscribe. Dang, your phone is hotline blinking. I do have memberships available. You can click the link and join. There's a $4.99 membership, I want to say, and a $6.99 membership to help support the channel. And lastly, I will be at the SWAC MEAC Challenge this coming Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. And I will be at the Guard the Yard tailgate. So make sure you guys check in and tap in with me. And my son wants to say goodnight. Here.
Good night.
Good night, man.
All right. And once again, we're going to leave out to the I Love 8 days. And it's on. How did Crook get out the gulag? I do not see Crook on here. I promise you. I'm in the chat and I do not see him. I don't even see him. How is he on here? I don't see him. I don't see Crook on here. I can see when people are asking me about Crook, I can see where you guys are adding him, but I cannot actually see him commenting. So I don't know. That's on y'all. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. It was a great live. Next week, hopefully we'll get the a chance to sit down with the Blitz City podcast and do South Carolina State versus Jackson State. It gets kind of sticky with Kobe because, he is a Jackson State fan, but South Carolina State is home. So thank you all for tuning in, everybody, and you all have a good night.